Good afternoon, and welcome to your February 27th, 2014 Daily Tarot Card Read. Let's do a little recap of this month where we've seen where we needed to stick up for those who could not stick up for themselves. That means those who can't speak for themselves, we spoke up for. We realized that we not only temporarily influenced events, but that we realized it would not last. We also saw where we wanted to make sure that it did not come back on us. We saw where we needed to deal with issues regarding spring clean. We saw where we needed to, how should I put this? Deal with issues that were considered the physical stuff. The physical, the mental, dealing with work, living conditions, duties and jobs and stuff like that. Then we went into where we had to fight like cats and dogs and realized that we were going to make very little headway. We took a day off after that, and then we had Valentine's Day, where it was about pleasing our companion, paying attention and remembering that their ways are, how should I put this, important just as much as ours. And honoring those relationships. Then we saw where we had to fight again for a little headway, but we also realized that we needed to make, how should I put this, changes in our lives. We had to deal with that emotional aspect as well as spiritual. And that's what it's been this month. It's been all about the spring clean, but it's all about relationships this month and making those connections and making sure that we don't inspire envy or making situations toxic, or messing things up. As somebody once told me, get out of your own 2 feet, get away from your own 2 feet, so to speak, because if you trip yourself up, guess what? You're going to keep tumbling. And that's what prevents you from achieving that positive atmosphere, that positive way of life. And yesterday, we saw that we still needed a little bit of that spring clean where we needed to get rid of the dead weight, see who's disrespecting us and getting rid of it, seeing if it's not only a permanent thing, or more proactive type thing, but, of disrespect, a continuance of it, and just get rid of that stuff. And then, like I said, yesterday we saw where we needed to get rid of that certain aspects of our lives that are not about us. Excuse me. Anyways, we saw where we needed to look at, make sure we didn't, how we represented ourselves and how we came across to people, but also realizing that we still are dealing with certain things such as a move of place, a job, a condition, stuff like that through, say for an example, the healer, the initiator, the protector. These things are there for a reason. So why don't we get going and see what today brings? I thought I'd do a different type of altar setup and see how we can, and I want to do something a little bit different so you can see how things unfold. So with that said, why don't we begin and see what today brings us, because we know that yesterday is the past, and therefore the mistakes we made yesterday we can learn from to make today a better day, but also the choices and decisions we make today pave a way for a possible, more brighter, more enlightened future, a happier, more positive future. So why don't we begin? I'll turn my cell phone sideways so you can see my new setup here. I'm using my book. Let's see what the first card is. The first card up is called the Healer. We've had her several times. And what the Healer represents and shadow aspect is that we need to ensure that we are not making a situation toxic. That's kind of ironic since I was just talking about that. By insisting on our own way. Again, get out of your own, get out of the way of your own 2 feet, so to speak. Something is not healing because cleansing must still be done. So we need to stop holding on to what makes ourselves suffer. If you cannot find a solution to, for ourselves, seek out those with the gift. Okay? So let's see what the second card is. The second card is called the Initiator. She's back up again. So that's no big surprise right there. And the Initiator speaks in a different tone than the Healer. She's more upfront and abrupt, so to speak. In your face kind of thing. And she's also in shadow aspect. And the message that she's trying to get across to us is whatever threshold that we are hovering over or near must be crossed soon. By putting off the inevitable, you increase your pain. The worry that eats at you is made worse by hesitation and the provocation of avoidance. So embrace the change so that you can live in freedom once again. And that is a very, very good read, because that's what today is about. And the third card today wraps us up with the Poet. The Poet is more of the nourisher, I guess you could say. And what he represents in shadow aspect is that we do not want to isolate ourselves from whatever feeds our souls, or you will feel closed down and uninterested. The memories that connect you to the past may be too painful, so we need to find and engage with the myths and stories, songs, and wisdom that brings encouragement. And that's what today brings for a reading. So why don't we take a look at, say for an example, just see what the root of the situation is. Okay? And the root of the situation is today the Lord of Love. Okay? And that's what this month has been about. It's been about love. It's been about not only finding that love connection with yourself, but also with your coworkers, your friends, your family. And that's what today has been about. This month, I should say, that's what it's been about. So basically, what we need to look at for the root of the situation is we want to start out by looking at our general attitude toward things and ask, what do you serve? And what brings you to this pass? Work and creativity is the same way. You might ask, in what directions are your powers trying to flow? And what stands in their way? Your health and well-being, it can deal with anything from emotional, physical, mental, even spiritual. So we want to look at ourselves and ask, what brings wholeness to your being? And what is threatening your survival? From there, we want to look at our relationships, from coworkers, friends, family, right down into your personal life where it's with you and your mate, your soulmate, or, your wife, girlfriend, whatever, And you want to ask flat out, what opens your heart and what closes it? And that's been your reading for today. And that's your reading for this day to take a look at and to ponder. Kind of question these questions and, kind of ponder them and see What opens up and what inspires you? What nourishes your soul? And see what you can make for changes to make it better for tomorrow. And that's today's reading. So with that said, hail Satan. If you serve the Lord and Lady, blessed be and peace unto you. If you serve God, Allah, or Buddha, well, you know how those things go. But that's been the reading for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with another daily tarot card read. So, until tomorrow, blessed be and peace unto you.